Hey guys, this is TJ with Texas Digital Gaming. Today I'm going to be talking about Neo-Cab from the developer Chance Agency. From the start I was absolutely just thrilled with the style of the artistic look and the beautiful colors they picked for the futuristic setting. But that being said, for the first few moments of gameplay I was still a little on the fence of how things were going to turn out. But before I knew it, I was 3 hours in and found myself pulled into an intriguing story with a slight undertone of social situations that are currently going on in our world today. The game takes place in a technologically Googletopian future, a world so run by AI and computers that it would make Elon Musk drool in his cereal. Now, you play as Lena. She's a 20-something-year-old female who has found herself in kind of a bad situation. You see, Lena's a driver for the Neo-Cab company. Now, it's the last human-driven cab company that is around, and it's really being threatened by a tech juggernaut named Copra. Copra handles everything from the latest humanless driving cars all the way to the currency that is currently being used. Now, finding herself in a bit of uncertainty in her life, she jumps at an opportunity to move to the bustling city of Los Ojos whenever a lifelong friend, Savvy, contacts her wanting to reconnect after a small falling out the two had had about a year ago. It is only when Lena arrives in Los Ojos that it becomes very apparent that things are not as they seem. After a brief but heartfelt meeting with Savvy, things take a turn for the worse when Savvy just disappears, leaving many questions and very little clues as to what happened to her in her wake. So, with no place to stay, very little money in her pocket, she has no choice but to continue working nights for Neo-Cab at the same time as trying to CSI any information she can about the disappearance of her friend. Along the way, you're going to meet some of the most interesting rideshare clients that vary all the way from touristy Germans that absolutely refuse to believe that Lena's a human and not some AI representation, forcing her to answer downright bizarre questions just to test her humanity, all the way to meeting a woman who is a string theorist diplomat who's trying to educate Lena on the multi-dimensional possibilities of impossibilities of the multiverse. Yeah, I know. All I can say to that is, whoa, man. Now, along the multitude of passengers that Lena she'll also end up learning about a political turmoil that's going on in the city between an uprising of an underground group of anti-tech anarchists and those who have fully embraced the automation and the AI of the city. This is especially fueled by a bill that Copra is trying to push through into law to make human drivers completely illegal, stating that human drivers are flawed and therefore dangerous, and AI is the only way to go. Not to mention, this law obviously is going to put Lena out of a job for good. I can truly say that each passenger I encountered was truly original and unique, which made it very clear from the get-go that a lot of forethought was actually put into both the character design and the dialogue. Some were outright jerks, while others may be overly friendly, and it's up to Lena to decide whether or not the person she's carrying may have any useful information that could lead her to the next clue on finding out what happened to her friend. Now, while carrying out her questioning, Lena has to be very careful of how she interacts with these customers, because her entire job stability with Neo-Cab is based completely off customer satisfaction reviews after she drops them off. Now, Lena has to maintain an overall rating of 4 out of 5 stars, otherwise she faces being terminated for her job, which she absolutely cannot afford to do because she has to pay for her daily expenses such as filling up her car at the electro pumps to keep her little office on wheels going, and paying for nightly hotel stays. Now, regardless of the personality flaws or quirks of every passenger that I had a conversation with, each one I really found consuming, and it pulled me in to look for more. Now, I found the best part of the game was actually not knowing if the next person I picked up was going to be a half-mechanized politician or some criminal trying to pull me into helping them with their next scam. One of the greatest things about Neo-Cab has to be that it's art meets reality, and the sense of what's going on in our real-world lives today. Now, people have been fearing losing their jobs to automation ever since the Industrial Revolution. But with technology of today advancing at a rate never before seen in history, and AI seeming to be the next big venture in our near future, you can't help but appreciate how NeoCab displays how it could be taken to the extreme. I think Lena made a great protagonist, and I felt that the developers at Chance Agency did a great job of pulling me into a captivating story with a bit of a unnerving social commentary. A couple of things to be aware of is that this game is completely narrative driven, with absolutely no actor dialogue whatsoever, so reading is a huge part of what the game is. NeoCab's gameplay consists mainly of choosing dialogue options, and at no point in the game do you actually take control of the cab yourself. At first I wasn't so sure about how this was going to play out, but I actually came to appreciate it as the game went on, because it meant that the way this works is, it is specifically the gamer's job to guide the protagonist down the path of finding out what happened to her friend, by focusing on just the questions and watching what answers she gives people. Because the direction that you take that conversation in can lead to the plot either moving forward or actually destroying your customer service rating. In the end, it does help the gamer focus on Lena and her situation, and there's nothing better than a game that knows how to connect you to the protagonist and pull you into their life and their situation as much as possible. Now, each night we'll start Lena off by getting into her car, pulling up her phone, and opening an app that brings up a map of the city and the people all around it that'll be looking for rides. Pick one, Lena will be on her way over there, and the next thing you know, your next engagement begins. Now, knowing that after each ride I would actually be rated by that customer in a way that it could affect the outcome of whether or not I could continue or not, actually made me make a conscious effort to observe each rider's demeanor, their emotions, and see what it was behind what they were saying. Now, I did have a few pains with the driver rating system as I got a little bit farther into the game. As you progress, some of the customers may have a demand that only 5-star drivers can pick them up. So if you had a few mildly bad interactions with past customers bringing your score down to a 4 or lower, you can't pick that customer up and therefore won't be able to progress. Now, a good thing is that the game does save after every interaction you have, so I actually had to return to a previous customer to try to get a higher score from them to boost my rating to be able to pick up the 5-star reviewers. Now, another key gameplay feature that is added on early on in the game is a bracelet that Savvy gives you when you meet. Now, this thing's much like a futuristic mood ring and is called a feel grid. Now, it displays a wide range of colors to show exactly what mood Lena's in, depending on what conversations and situations have happened to her throughout the day. So, it might be best if you've already put in a late night to go ahead and get some sleep instead of, say, trying to grind it and find another customer, because if Lena's mood is either mad or frustrated, it can actually prevent her from asking key questions in a manner that would actually benefit your goal. The graphics and audio of NeoCab would best be described as like an 80s shade of neon cyberpunk. There's dozens, and I mean dozens, of different shades of purples, pinks, blues, and all of it set to the sounds of like a lo-fi techno-punk. It is a sound that definitely seems to match the gameplay perfectly, and the only slight bug I ever encountered with the visuals of the game had to do with an extremely quick frame rate drop that happened at a couple of points later on in the game whenever I was looking at the phone and dialogue options would seem to kind of overlap very briefly and then flicker out, as if they were changing to the next option and got hung up. This only happened a few times and they were over just as quick as they began in a matter of a second or two. Now, this is going to bring me to the conclusion here. NeoCab is a game that is absolutely worth checking out, even if this is not the genre that you would normally lean to. In this choose-your-own-adventure style of gameplay, it allows you to take conversations in different ways every time you have them, meaning there's going to be more than one outcome to any given problem, and more than one ending to the game depending on how you chose to play. I actually found myself, after the hours I invested in it, still going back and trying different social interactions just to see what outcome would change. So for me, all this together concludes that I'm really glad that I took the time to play this game to its fullest, and I would absolutely do it again. So until the next time out there, y'all, this is DJ with Texas Digital Gaming. Out.